What is up, everyone? We are here today to talk about Fractured Sky. Fractured Sky, what is it? When did Fractured Sky come out?
Oh no. It's our fourth game.
It was a little while ago. But we are back to talk about expansions. And I'm very excited about expansions for Fractured Sky because Fractured Sky, this is just my personal opinion,
Okay.
but I think it's one of our tighter designs,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a blind bidding game, there's resource management, you're building buildings, but I think I'm very proud of our game design for Fractured Sky. It's a tight game, I think.
On your turn, you can only do three things. You can build a building, you can peek at something, or you can place an airship. So it's very limited decision space, and so it's very fast because of that.
Yeah, and so when we were making it, I think we were trying to make like a classic board game, right? And so we were really trying to strip it down to its core.
Which hurt.
But now we're back with a bunch of new ideas. Not one new expansion, not three new expansions like Tribunal was. We're talking 4 new expansions. Today, we've got Fractured Sky Awakening.
Woo!
We're gonna run you through our 4 new expansions, and then maybe a little surprise at the very end. It's not broken, it's fine. Yours won't be like this. Yours will stay up. You wanna tell them about the first one?
I'd love to. The first one is called Flagships, and Flagships is basically 5 new ships that are brand new sculpts, and they are beautiful, that have special abilities and powers for them. And so this basically adds asymmetric powers that you draft each turn to every player.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring asymmetric powers, honestly, in the base game. We talked about it in the base game, and it really adds a whole new layer of strategy to the game. It gives you something unique that you can do, and that's kind of the core feeling we were chasing with that expansion is like, I want, when I play Fractured Sky, I want to be able to do something that you can't do.
Right.
And we started actually with just full asymmetric start with these things. But then we realized, wait a second, if you have an asymmetric ability throughout the entire game, you're just going to do that one thing and it really pigeonholes you into one strategy.
Yeah, like Zach said, there's a small decision space and it's a really tight game. And so if you have a huge advantage on one thing all the time, you should do that one thing all the time. And so having it tied to the factions did not work. And so I'm so happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, so what you do is at the beginning of each round, you actually give back all of your flagships and then you draft in reverse turn order new flagships. And so you get to try out a bunch of different ones, and it gives you a new strategy each round. And also, there's not just 5 flagships. Each flagship has another side, an A and a B. So every time you play, you're playing with like a different variant on the power. It's very fun. And also magnets. There's a little ship that clips onto your magnetic tokens. We had to do it. Next, we're talking about payloads. So this introduces a new reward type into the game. And these are payloads. They're magnetic tokens that you can collect instead of one of the other resources you take from winning a region.
You could even choose to take it instead of a starfall, but that would be silly. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I mean, maybe, but don't. So you get these tokens, and then later you can stack them underneath your bids to add to their value. So normally in Fractured Sky, you can only bid 10 every round. These payload tokens range from +2 to +5. You can stack as many as you want under a bid, and then that lets you exceed your normal 10 troop power placement.
When you get it though, you're not sure whether it's a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. And so obviously you're hoping it's a 5. That number stays hidden, so no one at the table other than you, once you've gained it, knows what's on that, but everyone knows how many payload tokens you have. And so when you place them out, you can place as many of them as you have, and everyone has to guess, okay, how much power is really under that ship.
And if you're wondering where this one came from, it was definitely because it's very fun to stack up tokens, and then we were like, what if though? What if you could stack a bunch of tokens?
I saw someone playing that way with the core game, and
really?
I was like, I think you misunderstand how to play this game.
No.
But that's really cool.
It's very satisfying, and what is very nice about this strategically is in the game, the one way you can kind of build up your power over time is fortresses. They add more to each bid. But your fortresses are fixed to a place on the board, right? The starfalls might come out in a different area. Payloads lets you build up power over time and then use them when you think it's most effective to win like a big bid at the end of the game.
The third expansion is called Guardians, and it's actually these awesome characters that are behind us on the screens here. And those Guardians, there's 2 out every round, and they change the rules for the island that they are on. But they start on one island that's randomly assigned at the beginning of the round, but the first person to put a ship in that region gets to move them to one other island on the board, and then they're locked in place. They can do things like make fortresses add extra power, make markets add power too. They can do things like make buildings cheaper to make. It's really, really cool, all the different additions that they can do.
Yeah, really big swings. It's something you're taking into account at the beginning and throughout every single round. The other reason I love it is it also adds, it gives more power to that first placement. So you move them by placing first on the region that they start the round in, and then you get to choose where they go. And that dramatically shapes the entire round and gives you a little bit more incentive to place your airships out early. So yeah, really big game changers. It's something you got to watch out every single turn, every single round. And yeah, I love how it's a little chaotic, but like, you know what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just like, how is it all gonna unfold? We don't know where they're gonna land. We don't know how people are gonna play off of them. I love it.
I just love the big table moments when someone does decide to move one, because everyone's just like waiting to see where it's going to go based on the information they may or may not have. I often just take it early so Zach can't use it, so I move it far, far away from where I think Zach wants it, and that makes me happy on the inside.
Very rude. All right, fourth expansion is called Bounties. So this is basically a complete rehaul of the objective system in Fractured Sky. The original objective system are 5 hidden objectives. You have to pay resources to peek at them, and then they resolve each round. Our play group, we really like that because we like hidden information, we like asymmetric distribution of hidden information, but as the game has been out, as we've watched people play, we noticed that a lot of people really weren't peeking at them, especially new players. And so we started thinking like, okay, what if we came at this from a different angle? And I love this new version. So basically, bounties are 5 public objectives that replace the old objectives. They sit out on the board in the same spots that they were, and everybody knows what all 5 are at the beginning of the game. The first person to complete each objective gets a starfall. The second player, or any other players afterwards, instead of getting a starfall, will get some large amount of resources that can be critical in the game.
One of the things I love about it is a lot of them are something you have to build up to over multiple rounds. And so people start racing to try to do it faster than the other people. And so instead of just always going for where the starfalls are, now me and Zach might be both trying to get to 7 wood in a single round, and so we're fighting over the places that give you wood more than we would even the starfalls for a little bit. And so it really, really changes. And then once you get the bounty, you suddenly have 7 wood to work with. And so it's not just like building up for nothing into starfall, it's building up for a starfall. Now I feel super powerful. So it's really, really fun expansion.
What I really like about it is this is a game full of a lot of kind of subterfuge.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad it is. There's a lot of strategy lying under the surface, a lot of deduction. What this does in a game that has a ton of that under the surface, it brings some direct conflict for all players throughout the entire game. And I just love how much spiciness it adds. I love how it gives you something to focus on and compete over out in the open, where most of the game kind of takes place underneath a lot of layers of deception and subterfuge.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about this is you can play with one of these expansions, you can play with 2, you can play with all 4 of them. And it really takes Fractured Sky from a most of our games kind of hit that medium weight thing. This is very much on the lighter side of medium weight, and I think all 4 of these expansions really turn this into a much heavier strategy game. And you can piecemeal it however you'd like to play and kind of make the Fractured Sky experience that best suits your group.
And one of the things I love is how they mesh together. So for instance, one of the flagships lets you place that flagship out on the board, and then after everyone's done placing flagships, get to move it to somewhere else. Well, one of the things about the Guardians is that you have to basically waste a airship placement to move it, because that region's probably not worth anything. And so if I use my flagship to do that, I get to move that ship at the end. And so they all, when you play with them all together, they mesh in really fun ways and have these interesting synergies.
So that is Fractured Sky Awakening. We're going to be talking about it a ton more in the coming weeks. It comes out on Kickstarter on February 24th. So go follow it on the Kickstarter page and follow us on Instagram and join our Discord. We're going to be talking about it there. You can actually play test it on our Discord.
You can.
But we are not done, folks. We have one more thing, and that is a little smaller, but not smaller in our hearts. We have Soar.
Soar.
I forgot your coffee's out here.
Oh,
yeah,
I can
there we
take
go.
that.
So Soar is a small box game that we, I think, are revealing right now for the very first time, maybe.
I accidentally sent it to some influencers early, so that was on me. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, so Soar kind of started as this thought of like, what if we could make Fractured Sky light, which we've never really tried to do, nor maybe there needs to be a reason for, but it started as a card game where it was just like, what if we could distill the blind bidding of Fractured Sky into something that plays half an hour or less and is like 3 pages of rules in a very small rule book. And that's where it started. And we found a twist in there. So you are blind bidding on quests, much like you are in Fractured Sky. You're blind bidding for Starfalls. You're doing the same thing here. However, one of your bids is for you, and one of the other bids is for the Skyborn, which is this other player that is no one at the table. If at the end of the game you are you have the least amount of Starfalls, the least amount of victory points, you get the score of the Skyborn.
Which I often am the lowest score at the table, so.
So what is very nice is you get this really fun battle at the top, right? Where you're trying to get the most points. And then you're getting this battle at the bottom. You're trying to have the least amount of points while propping up this NPC, this non-player character that is the Skyborn. And so you just got battles everywhere. The people at the top are trying to, tamp down the score of the Skyborn. You get the people at the bottom trying to lose and bring up the score of the Skyborn. It's very fun, very tense.
But it's fast.
It's very fast. Usually plays in about half an hour. Plays 2 to 5 players.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a part of the campaign as a limited edition. There's some numbers on it. There's a numbered edition. We got a holofoil, all that good stuff.
And like we did last year with the Scales of Fate campaign,
yes,
there's going to be a Gen Con pickup for Soar,
yeah,
which is really exciting.
Yeah. So anyways, Fractured Sky Awakening, Soar, coming to Kickstarter February 24th. Thank you for being here. We're really excited about it. And we will be giving you more info over the next month.
Probably too much info.
Probably.